What's happening, everybody? This is Ryan here. I am going to go through something that I've never talked about actually on my own podcast. I've been talking about it on a lot of others, but it's how ChatGPT unlocked 10 years of learning in literally 2 minutes. So let's get into it.
How do you grow like a VC-backed company without taking on investors? Do you want to create a lifestyle business, a performance business, or an empire? How do you scale to an exit without losing your freedom? Those are the questions, and this show is the answer.
Welcome to today's episode of the Scale Up Show. It is sponsored by the Sales AI Accelerator, which is a membership model that I have to democratize the use of AI across revenue functions in business. Feel free to check it out. It will be in the show notes. And it's a growing, thriving community where I basically unlock all the cheat codes, prompts, and other workflows that I'm leveraging in my business as well as other businesses so that you can become superhuman today. All right, let's get in the episode. And this is one of my favorites. And this is literally what started it all for me. I've gotten the question asked to me so many times about how I got started with it, or what made me start looking at AI and getting really, really focused. And there's one single thing literally changed everything, okay? What that means is basically I stopped and I was scared shitless, okay, when I saw this, because one of the things I did is I tested it on something that I knew to be true, and it got 95% of the way there by answering one single question. All right, this is when ChatGPT first came out. This was it was probably in like November, so it was over like a year from now. And so what happened was I got turned on to it from one of the guests on my show. His name was Chris Savage. He's the CEO of Wistia. Turned me on to Dolly. I tried it out with my daughter that weekend. And the absolutely amazing thing about it was it literally changed my perspective. Okay. I was like, okay, this is kind of neat. This is kind of cool. We made a picture of Bob Ross. I found it actually an infinite picture of Bob Ross, looking at Bob Ross, painting tiny little trees, right? So I thought that was pretty freaking funny. And I'm like, okay, this is very interesting. But one of the things that changed is once ChatGPT came out. And that's that got me down this rabbit hole, if you will. Because what I did is when I looked at it, there's all these kind of things going around of like, oh, it's good, it's not good. There's all these different opinions. And this was GPT 3.5 that was out, right? So this is the earliest version. And I'm like, so all these people started testing it and they're like, hey, this could do a really good job as an entry-level person for my job, right? Everybody's looking at, can this replace me? And so one of the things I tested it on is I'm like, I'm going to test it on something that took me a decade to learn, right? And this is like 10,000 hours of meetings with C-level executives and truly understanding like what's inside their head in terms of like how they're evaluated. What are the challenges they have with those evaluations, right? And hitting those KPIs, I should say. And then the third layer is emotions. Like, how do they emotionally feel? Because the way I look at it is if you understand how someone's evaluated, the challenges they have in hitting those, as well as the emotions they have, if you understand that stack, that 3-level stack, very good, what's going to happen is you'll be able to sell and market to them very easily because you understand from the inside out, what they're feeling, what they're experiencing, and what they're going through. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through the 3 prompts that I use to leverage that. And I think you'll be blown away with just trying this because you could customize it or use it for anything. I've talked about this on other podcasts, talked about this in presentations with web trainings I've done. I don't think I've actually ever talked about it on my show, so I wanted to share it for you step by step in terms of how to walk through it because it's foundational to a lot of other things, all right? And so if we look at this, the first question I ask is how someone is evaluated by their KPIs. So for those of you that don't know what KPIs are, it's key performance indicators. So executives typically have KPIs that they're evaluated on. And that could be anywhere from 3 to 7 to 10 different metrics that identify, are they producing results? Okay, that's the way they should be evaluated on. But if you have hard, tangible goals, it's really on the idea of, they're binary in some aspects, right? They're not fluffy. And so one of the things is, okay, identify, like, let's say, I want you to, this is the prompt. Okay. So I'm going to walk you through the prompt and you can kind of customize it. So you might want to write this down. You might want to transcribe this episode. Also, at the same time, I went through YouTube and walked through a screen share of actually going through this. And I think you're going to be blown away. So I just started a YouTube channel. Actually, I've been publishing things on YouTube for a while. However, I want to start showing some of these details to you so you could see in real time, right? And I didn't like edit the video or anything. And literally the entire video took me like 6 minutes, okay? So here's how it breaks down. So if you look at it, I asked, okay, I want you to act like the, let's say, CIO, Chief Information Officer. So you have the title, right? I want you to act like this of a Chief Information Officer at, let's say, a SaaS company, right? Let's say at a SaaS company that is publicly traded and is between 100 and 3 million in revenue, right? So what I'm doing is I'm forcing the AI to go inside the mind of that persona, right? So then I said, give me the top 5 KPIs you're evaluated on, right? So then what it did is it broke it down, the top 5 different key performance indicators that role is evaluated on, all right? So went through that. So that's step 1, that's prompt 1. Okay, so what it's gonna do is it's gonna break down those evaluation metrics. So the goal is if you're selling or marketing, if you could align your solution with improving those evaluation metrics, you're going to be already way ahead of everybody else, right? And the more specific you can get with like the company ownership structure, the title, and then the revenue range, that helps understand or identify really the key area of growth that company is in, because there's different priorities at different stages of company growth. Okay, so that's step 1. Step 2, all right, let's go through is and this is super simple. What are the top 5 challenges you have in hitting those KPIs, right? And then identify the state of the market, okay? And what I mean by that is I use the example of the top 5 challenges you're experiencing in a down market with high inflation, right? So, maybe what we're experiencing now is companies are starting to hire a lot. There's a lot of layoffs last year, but effectively that was the environment. So I said, okay, identify, high inflation with a down market, right? So then I identify what are the typical 5 challenges that someone would experience hitting those KPIs, doing that specifically in that role. So that's number 2, okay? Number 3, this is beautiful in its simplicity, right? Is how do those challenges emotionally make you feel in terms of your fears, dreams, frustrations, and desires, okay? So you're going to want to write that down. How does that emotionally make you feel for your fears, your dreams, your frustrations, and your desires, right? And then you could say, hey, please list this in a tabular format, right? So what it's going to do is put it in a chart for you. So then effectively, you're going to have the whole trail of what are they evaluated on? What are the top 5 challenges that they have, as well as what are, it's an emotion, basically an emotion, both positive and negative table that you have. And then what you could do is leverage that, and you could use that for sales messaging. You could use that for content creation. You could use that for marketing. You could use that for cold outreach. You could use that for sales pitch. You could use it for so many different applications within your business and understanding that what it'll enable you to do is start to unlock that at a deep emotional level. And this works. I mean, literally you could do this. If you go boom, 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 you can get done with it in less than 5 minutes. All right. And what you'll probably see is there's going to be some things in there that are you're going to expect. And there's going to be some things in there that surprise you. However, the huge value is when you build on top of this foundation that I helped you create, and you could leverage all these other offshoots in these different areas. Okay. So that was pretty much everything for today. However, there was some news that's coming up, and I think I'm going to start including like kind of different breaking news so you have understanding to round out the episode at the end. So one of the things that I saw that was pretty eye-opening to me, and not a lot of people have talked about this, is the Google Deepmind breakthrough that happened. Okay, so Google, their research wing of their AI group called Deepmind, basically had a breakthrough where the AI was able to execute and complete high school level, I think it was geometry or trigonometry, right? That might not seem like a big deal, but one of the biggest barriers for AI is understanding how to handle mathematical equations and solve those, because it looks at more through patterns of recognition in terms of words. And so to have something like that be a really, really big breakthrough. And I think Sam Altman, I heard him talk about this in the past, the CEO of OpenAI, and he identified just like how crazy it was, or how excited he was that they were starting to see that mathematical breakthrough, because that could lead to a lot of other things with autonomous agents. And looking at numbers and solving solutions and problems through that. And so I was not a lot of people talked about it. It was trending on the news for a while. I haven't seen a lot of it in my ecosystem. So I wanted to share that with you to keep on your radar and really, really keep your eye out for that, because that could evolve in a lot of things, whether it relates to physics, whether it relates to mathematics, whether that relates to crunching numbers. If we can start having AI do that, then I think, things are going to get really weird. Not that they haven't over the last year anyways, but anyways, really enjoy you joining me today. If you could do me a solid and check out my YouTube videos that I'm starting to post and let me know what you think. Like, reply in the comments. I want to start really, really getting feedback from you so I can fine tune this and give you what you want in terms of delivering at the highest level for my community. So check it out. It's just under my name, Ryan Staley. I'm going to be publishing more explainers on there, and I'm really leveling up the production for that, because I think it's hard sometimes to show it in context, not in video. And I love doing video and showing those because it's super, super fun. So anyways, hope you enjoyed this. I will see you all on the next episode.
Thank you for checking out the Scale Up Show. My mission in life is to help founders and revenue leaders avoid all the pain and suffering in revenue and growth so they can flip it and create a life of their own design. So if you enjoyed this show, please review, share it on social, and more importantly, just share it with a friend. Share it with someone that you think could learn and benefit from what you heard on today. But the more we get the message out, the more people we could help, the bigger the impact we make, and the bigger the community gets, which helps everybody. So once again, thank you for being a loyal listener. I appreciate you and look forward to seeing you on the next episode.